Now, Parliament is planning to retrench hundreds of workers, or at least that's what we've heard. It has a shortfall of over R500 million. This was revealed by Parliament's Financial Management Committee. Joining us now is Parliamentary spokesperson Moloto Mothapo. Thank you very much, Mr. Mothapo, for your time here on eNCA. Can you confirm, there's a bit of confusion. We've heard, obviously, from the EFF statement that there's been confirmation that there are retrenchments happening in Parliament, but we've heard you speaking to media houses saying that this is not true. Can you clarify for us, please?
Yes, absolutely. No, thank you very much. Well, the statement of the economic freedom fighters makes claims that are patently false and unfortunately have caused unnecessary panic and anxiety amongst the Parliament staff having to learn about this in the media. Well, the reality is that Parliament is not at all considering retrenchment and has never even discussed this. On the contrary, what is being done has its origin in the 2019 discussion and agreement that we reached with employees' representatives, which is NEHAW, regarding the proposal of workers themselves, that as some of them were on the verge of retirement age, Parliament should put in place some kind of mechanism to allow such workers to opt for voluntary early retirement. So Parliament has been considering this proposal and it's in discussion with the National Treasury regarding the best way to effect this. So we are talking here of what is called voluntary early retirement packages, which is something that was proposed by workers themselves and is voluntary, meaning that if such a mechanism was to be put in place, it can either be taken up or not. So now we are not sure how this got to be confused with a completely different thing, which is retrenchments, because the two are like, chalk and cheese. So the mechanism of voluntary early retirement will benefit both workers and interested staff, in that staff who desires to leave early to rest or to pursue other interests will be allowed to do so. And Parliament will also benefit by not unnecessarily detaining staff who will rather be elsewhere, and will also use that as an opportunity to reprioritize certain posts in the light of the budget cuts that we are faced with from the Treasury.
How many workers are we talking about here that have been offered this voluntary severance package?
Well, it is not yet in the process. We are discussing with the National Treasury, as I've said. But once the National Treasury perhaps says, for instance, it says, yes, we will fund you for this kind of mechanism as it is taking place throughout government, then those who want to retire early are on the verge. For instance, maybe you are 4 years or 3 years before your retirement age, then you can apply as a member of staff for consideration, and that will be processed accordingly.
All right. So there's also what you said about Parliament being able to save a bit of money since things are happening virtually.
Yes, of course, because one of the arguments in the EFF statement is that we should be using, well, on the premise that there is retrenchment, we should be using a certain amount of money that we've saved through travel costs, not saving on a little travel that has taken place in the this year to compensate, to use as a compensation for some of the workers. But what we are essentially saying is that, of course, there has been quite a significant amount of money that has been saved by taking the significant portion of the business of Parliament on virtual platforms. But that cannot be a solution, a permanent solution. For instance, the amount that was saved, it will be very important during this financial year to enhance some of the areas of business of Parliament, oversight, lawmaking, and public participation. It can only, for instance, cover this, the new financial year, but it will not be able to cover the many years that are coming.
And this, of course, also speaks to the debate about the public sector wage and people saying that, there should be jobs or money that is cut to make sure that the fiscus is not, in trouble, like the PSA, for instance, and Treasury keeps saying, by cutting, for instance, the salary increments of nurses and doctors who are deserving of those salary increments. That also, this topic about Parliament either retrenching or giving people the opportunity to say they want to leave early. It goes back to that debate, doesn't it?
Absolutely, because that's why I'm saying that it will be such a mechanism, if it is put in place, it will be of benefit to both the employees who will rather be elsewhere, because you don't want also to unnecessarily detain a certain portion of the workforce that will rather be elsewhere, pursuing other interests, or they are just tired, they want to rest. Because that will not really be, of benefit to the functioning of Parliament and the efficiency that we require from the staff. So by allowing them to leave, we are then able to reprioritize the budget that used to cover those positions that they will have left, to see how do we, because Parliament has got a lot of vacancies, but we're not going to be able to fill that because of the kind of challenge that our fiscals nationally is confronted with. So what we need to do is to ensure that we prioritize, we ensure that the existing workforce is able to cover certain areas where possible, and we reprioritize and restructure how we are going to continue to offer very important and quality service to the members of Parliament and to the public.